Hi, this is R.
And this is M.
And we're R&M Homestead, and we are going to do a quick overview of the homestead, give you an update. We had a lot of response for the goals post that we had earlier this week, and so we're going to go over that. We also going to show you what we got going on. It's springtime, it's activity time for us, so we'll get you over here to the blueberries here in a second and show you what's going on. All right, so over here we have our 4 blueberry plants. We definitely have to do some clearing out of the grass and weeds and remulch and do some pruning. So that's part of our goal list. Em's doing pretty well in the garden, so we might be knocking this out tomorrow or the next day. So we got our blueberry plants in here. Some of them are definitely looking a little on the shabby side, but there is some life. There is some life. Right there, some life. So we got some work cut out for us on these. This one's actually doing the best, right here. So that one is doing good.
I think that one's a goner.
That one might be a goner. We're not sure yet, but that might be a goner. And there is a little bit of life left in this one here. I don't know if you could tell, but boom. So that is on our to-do list. And then we have some raspberry plants over here. This one is gone, but this one is alive and doing all right. And I think that was a big plant, right, Em?
Yes. The other 2 were sticks, and they're dead.
I believe I broke this one off last week. Is either this or the other one. I went in my hand,
and I broke
check
the
it,
other
and
one.
Boom.
Yep.
But we do have lots of raspberry plants. We got some at the beginning of our property, and we have a bunch in the back of our property. So we have no problem with wild berries come mid-June.
Oh yeah.
So that is on our to-do list for very, very soon. So we'll take a walk over to the herb garden now. So this is our little herb shack, and Em's gonna go over this.
Okay, so far we got oregano. We have a little plant here that we planted ourselves, and then we got these oregano plants, which, as you can tell, they're plenteous right now. We need to come out here and harvest some.
They smell good too.
Yes, they do. And then we have our rosemary plants, which we only have 2 of those, which we actually just picked some the other day. We made fresh salmon dish, and we used some rosemary for that. So, and as you can tell, there's still plenty more, so we're so excited for our fresh rosemary. Then over here we have 2 garden sage. We have 1 basil. We have another one downstairs. These are just coming up. We got 2 thymes, and we got 1 lemon balm. We also have some chamomile downstairs we still got to bring up, and several of more of these plants that we're going to plant here soon, so we can hopefully have anywhere from 2 to 4 of each plant. We also have dill that we'll be planting soon, cilantro, so we're so excited for this. We also need to put some mulch. We're going to put some mulch right here where you see the cardboard is, and then we're going to get some little decorations from Dollar Tree just to kind of spicing it up and make it look a little better.
But this is actually going to relocate here really soon because we have to move that shed because there's a huge hole we found last year when we were clearing it out underneath it. So we need to do some filling, and I'm going to put some stone down, and hopefully we could have that taken care of tomorrow. I'm going to the landscaping place to get set up for the stone. They can deliver tomorrow. It's getting done tomorrow. They take later in the week. It's going to be done one of these days this week.
Yep.
But that's our goal, that we put all this back, and then we already got the mulch to put down for that.
We're also going to try,
for
the first time this year, we're going to try to dry some herbs. We've never done that. So this is all new for us, if you have any tips on that, because we're going to be doing some research. But we've never dried herbs before, so this is going to be our first time doing that.
So these are our 2 raised beds. This one came with the house, and this one I built last year. So Em, what you got going on over here?
All right, now we got a bunch of different types of lettuces combined together.
Man, that rain really helped out.
It did. It's ready to start harvesting. We're going to come through here maybe tomorrow and pick some for a salad or something like that. But we got different kinds, as you can see, different colors. We're really excited about that. We love fresh salad, even on our sandwiches. I mean, it's really good. Over here, we just put some of the rabbit manure, and we also have my husband actual compost he made for the first time this year. We mixed it in here. So we got spinach that hopefully will come up in the next week or so, and then we'll be eating from that in like a month and a half. So we're excited about that and see how that goes.
It's been really cold recently, so we're hoping the spinach does well. We did plant it a little bit later. We probably should have planted the spinach when we planted the lettuce, but we'll see. We'll see. And the lettuce that we use is the Seed Savers garden mix, I believe it is, and it is delicious. Every single one of the kids love it. We all love it. We buy like a lot because lettuce is one of the easiest things we can grow.
Yes, and we like, it lasted us, if I'm not mistaken, it lasted us back until what, July, August, the same thing we planted at the beginning of the year. So we were eating out of it all summer long. So that was really nice. So we're excited to see that it does well this year. And we didn't have as many plants as we have right now. Last year we only had maybe like 10 plants come up. So, but this year we have, as you can tell, a big variety, a whole lot. So.
And what do you got in the other one?
Well, in the other one, we actually have some radishes already coming up. I don't know if you can actually see, but the back row is radish. So we have all these little radishes. They're coming up slowly here, then there. So we're excited about that and see how they do this year. And then our next row, we have carrots, which we have one big one.
That's from last year, I think.
No. Well, what happened was I had planted this garden before we put up this fence, as you can tell. And something got in and was eating up all the seeds and ate everything but the one carrot. So we put this up, and so far we've actually had better luck. As you can tell, we're starting to have plants come up. So I think this is taking care of whatever was getting into the garden. But we have carrots now planted here, and those should hopefully come up within the next week. And then the next row, the very first row, will be beets, which we've planted those too.
We did all right with those last year.
We did. We can definitely do better. They didn't get as big as we would like. So we're still learning about beets and carrots and trying to get those to do better for us, because they usually don't get that big. So, but that's what we have in those 3 beds right there.
All right, and then we're gonna go over to the big boy, the big garden. All right, so this is the big boy garden, and this area here up into like the first trellis there, we had planted last year, and then over on this side, just those 2 rows, and our tiller died. But those 2 rows, it died before we got to those 2 rows, so we hand tilled all that last year, and that was not fun for M. I did a little bit, but M did the brunt of it.
And I was really pregnant.
And she was really pregnant. And yeah, that was a lot of work. But we got the tiller fixed. The part came in October of last year, just in time for winter. So I got that fixed up, and we got the entire garden tilled. The weed barrier has been a tremendous help. Our first year, we spent every day weeding, and it was disgusting. I mean, it was horrendous, but this was virgin ground, and this has really tremendously been a time saver for us, and our plants did really well. So what you got planted over here so far, Em? Because you've done a lot of planting, and I'm not even sure everything that you planted.
Okay, so we're going to go step by step. The first row, from the first little triangle all the way down to right before the trellis, we got our cucumbers planted. We got 2 different kinds. We got the Early Fortune, and then we got the pickling kind. So those have always done tremendously well for us. So we're so excited for cucumber season this year. The plants should be coming up, I was saying, within the next week, because that's more recently been planted. So those should be coming up soon. Then the next row, we have a row right here, which nothing's planted yet, but that's going to be our squash, which we did row with that last year also. We'll have butternut, zucchini, and yellow nut squash. So those are all going to go right here. The first row right there is cabbage. We got 6 green cabbage and 3 red cabbages. And then if you skip a row next, we have 3 more red cabbages. So we have a total of 12 cabbage plants. However, for some reason this year, they were starting to get eaten and they were starting to die. And I found all these little ants on them. So that was the first year we've ever had issue with ants eating our plants. So I looked online and I saw that peppermint spray is supposed to work. So I made a concoction and I sprayed it in there. So hopefully that took care of them, but we'll have to get back to you on that one because it's our first time trying that. Like I said, we've never had an issue with ants before, so that is something new we have to learn about. Next we have, right? I don't know
Our
if you
lonely
can tell.
little onion.
We do have one onion from last year that we replanted over here, so we'll see how that does. But if you go a little bit further back, we have 4 broccolis, which I know 2 look like they're going to make it. The other 2, I'm not sure, because like the cabbage plants, ants were all over them. So hopefully we just took care of that. Next, after that, we have this whole line. It's like a whole line of dirt. If you can see, we just planted tiger beans for the first time. They're kind of like a pinto bean, close to that, but they're called tiger beans, and they're gonna grow right there. We've never planted those, so this will be our first year seeing how those do. And then right where the trellis is on both sides, we've planted peas so far, and we do have some peas plants, which is really hard to see from here, but we do have some coming up already, and hopefully in the next month we'll be ready to start harvesting some of that.
Climbing. They are climbing.
Oh, you got some? Okay. But they usually do really well for us, as long as no moles or anything gets to it. So that is something we're still learning to keep out of our garden. Also, for the first time, we are planting a green bean, but instead of doing the pole green beans, we're doing one that does a bush. So we'll see how those do, but that's on this freshly black tarp right here that you can see. We got these little holes. We just planted those today, so we'll see how those do.
And then you want to go over your game plan for this side?
Still coming up with the game plan.
Oh,
but
boy.
we are going to we have 10 heirloom tomatoes, 2 cherry tomatoes, 2 M tomatoes.
Mexican midget tomatoes.
Yes. And we plan on doing our cherries right here on these 2, the Mexican midgets here, and then the heirlooms like this until we get done with the 10. And then we'll plant our peppers at the end, which we've got jalapenos, Italia peppers, banana peppers, natapino peppers, which are like jalapeno. And then we actually got some jalapeno too. But the natapino peppers are supposed to be the same taste as jalapenos, but no spiciness to them. So that's also new. We'll see how that goes this year. And then after that, where the first set of rocks are, is probably where I'm going to do the okra. Hopefully we can plant that this coming week. That is the plan. And then after that, it's going to be our vine plants that we can just have them going that way.
Melons, cantaloupes.
Yep. Cantaloupe, watermelon, pumpkins. We already doing squash and cucumbers over there. So I think that's
maybe butternut squash.
We'll have to wait and
Because
see.
that vines out a lot more than the yellow squash and the zucchini.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see that. But that's the plan for that big area back there. We've also talked about putting the tarp over here and maybe doing some against the fence over here of those plants too.
This was originally going to be our, annual?
Mm-hmm.
Annual, like asparagus, mainly asparagus, I think it was, and maybe strawberry over here, but we kind of failed on that the first year. The asparagus actually did well. We just never got it into the ground. And then we lost them. And I finally was able to till this year. So we might be trying that again this year. But that's our game plan. Hopefully we can at least get the asparagus in, because we all love asparagus.
Yes.
And so we might do some of the vine plants over here as well, since we're not entirely sure. We'll see. Space goes quickly, believe it or not. And
especially with the vine plants, they go everywhere. So we definitely want to give them their space to thrive. So we'll have to wait and see what we do exactly. But like I said, the other stuff we've planned already over the okra and the tomatoes and the peppers. It's just those vine plants. We're not sure exactly where they're going. So
this was our original compost bin. It was overflowing. It was really overflowing, like way above the brim there. We took a bunch of it off and relocated it in the new compost area there. So once I get this sifted through and all the good stuff out of it, this is going to be our area for usable compost or ready to use compost. and there's a good amount in there. This little bucket here is the good stuff, nice and fluffy and ready to use. And then right next to here is we had some tree branches down. We cleared out a whole bunch of the tree limbs in the pine trees, and opened up a lot of sun. So we need to do that on this side here. We still have raspberry plants over here as well. But this area here, our first year was our little cornfield, and I'm hoping to get that done this year as well. It shouldn't take too long. It's pretty easy. It was easy to till over on this side, a lot easier than the other side. And I just have to get cleaning in this. That is a task for this month, but hopefully before June we'll have the corn planted. Corn likes it warmer, so I got that going for me. It gives me a little bit extra time. And then over here is our rabbit manure. Most of this is already spoken for. I just have to start sifting it and bagging it up. And then we built a manure or a composting area, so that is full already. We have a lot of compost, yard waste, chicken, cleaning out the chicken coop. That is cooking. That is nice and warm. And then this is the stuff starting the new bin. And then I'm probably gonna do maybe a third bin for compost or 2 bins for rabbit poop. We'll see. Still trying to figure it out, but I got plenty of space. And so that is that area. And we're gonna go back to the trees.
Oh, look at the bunnies.
Where?
Bunnies. There's 2.
Hey, look at this. There's one running. There's another one. Yeah. See, isn't nature fun? We got tons of those guys. That's why we have our fence. But tree time. So this tree here and this tree here are plums, and they are doing phenomenal. We learned so much about tree planting compared to the first year doing it. And we did a wider base. We cleaned out a lot of the vegetation. We still have to do some clean out this year, but not nearly as much as some of the other places. And these trees are really thriving. We used a compost rabbit manure mix and mixed it up with the clay soil, and they are just doing wonderful. Hopefully this year, maybe next year, we'll get some plums.
Yeah.
Next year for sure. We did spend the extra money and got the larger tree, and it is a blessing to do it that way.
Which the larger tree didn't cost us as much. It was only like $20 more from the other trees we'll show you in a minute that we did. And the $20 really made a big difference.
Makes a huge difference.
And also the other trees, which we did this time, is we put fencing around it. The other trees, we did not put fencing around the first year, and the deers got to them really bad. So
yes. The deers wreaked havoc on us our first winter.
Yeah.
So that was a great learning experience. There is evidently figs in here somewhere, but it's funny how the fig tree area is the only area where there's a lot of vegetation, and outside of that there's not. And same with this one. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to do figs anymore if these don't work out until we upgrade.
I don't think figs are doing too well in this state that we live in.
Right.
So might never need to do figs.
This was a peach tree. I think it's goner.
Oh, it's dead.
I think it's a goner.
It's dead.
And then this was a peach tree. We did have 3 peach trees, and all 3, I think, died on us. This one and that other one did make it through the first winter amazingly, but died off this year. Over this winter. And then we have 3 apple trees over here. This one, I think, is the only one from our original trees that's still surviving, but we definitely have to do some pruning, some cleaning up, and possibly.
We still don't know if it's gonna make it, just because if you could tell, there's different parts down there that where the deers rubbed it off the first year that still haven't even gotten better. So we're not sure. It survived.
It's surviving. So we haven't gave up hope on it yet. No, there's leaves. Don't give up on us yet. This one, on the other hand, yeah, I think that's a goner. And this one over here, we're not sure. Maybe it still has some life, maybe not. We're not sure if that is actually the tree or the bush that was planted next to the tree.
Which, if we compare it to those leaves, I think it was the bush. So I think
That's what we're thinking. We think it's dead. So out of all the trees we started out with this past year, one tree survived.
And it's doing okay.
Maybe. Last year we bought 4 and we're 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
So we learned some very valuable lessons.
And the 2 out of 4, the 2 big ones survived, the 2 small plants didn't. And that's what we're learning too. The small ones we buy, they're not worth spending any money on. They just die. The bigger you buy, it seems to do better for us.
It might be a little bit of extra money, but in the long run, it might do you a lot of good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head over to the ducks and chickens. So this part of our property here is where we get a decent amount of our raspberries or wild berries. And if you pretty much start where those rabbit cages are and work your way all the way down that way around the trees, it just keeps going to the back of our property, and we usually get a pretty decent harvest.
Yeah.
And then over here we have some of the wood that I cut up from last year drying out, looking pretty good. Excited to use it. You know, these were the smaller logs. I got the 3 bigger logs over there still to do. And then if you walk over here, we have our duck cage, our duck pen, and our rabbits areas. The ducks are out and about, and Em made a little nest back in the corner there, but they're laying in it, but no one's sitting. We've, had 20 or so eggs in it?
36.
Something like that. And no laying in it yet, so I'm gonna build a little shack, which I'll show you in a little bit. We made this little food cover, and do you know if that's full of water or not, Em?
No.
It wasn't? Oh, so it survived the really bad rainstorms we had the past few days, and no food got destroyed. So that's excellent, because we were using the small little pan to feed them. So that is really good for them. And then we got our meat chickens over here. They are doing well, loving their new area, enjoying themselves. We have that right there, that rooster right there is Uno. We raised him last year, and he is one of the original ones that we actually raised, and he is probably going to be harvested here in the near future. And then over here we have all our laying chickens. So these were the meat chickens over here, and then our laying chickens are over here. I got most of this wire all fixed up. I just have to do from that door around to the back side of the coop, but a lot better, less of a headache. And so far our Labrador has not broken into the chicken coop and had any snacks. So now it's rabbit time, Em's favorite animal on the homestead.
Well, we got lots of babies, as you can see. We have her, who has 3 babies. They're at the really cute age. They're so tiny and fluffy, but we'll be selling them here in the next, I would say, 6 weeks, because I think they're 4 weeks old. So 4 more weeks we'll be selling these. She has 3 here.
Is that a solid white?
Yes, we got a solid white, a solid blue, and a solid black. So, and then we have some harvest rabbits we got a harvest from last year that I haven't had time to do, so that's why they're still here. Then we got a mommy and a daddy and a mommy and a daddy. I gotta separate the girls, but I just haven't had the time to do it yet, but I'll be separating them this coming week. We got our 2 main males. This is JT, and then we got Skittles right there. So, and then over here we have this one who should have babies in the next day or 2, and we have this one who actually has 6 babies right now.
This is the one where we moved the cage and found out she had one.
Yes.
On the ground this past week.
And they're still pretty pretty tiny. They're our youngest ones we have right now, but as you can tell, their eyes haven't opened yet. They're probably, I have to check the calendar, but like 5 or 6 days old. So they're still pretty.
I think
pretty
was
small.
that last Sunday? I think it was last Sunday we were out here is when we found it. So they're a week.
Yeah. No, not. Well, yeah, somewhere right in there. And then we have this one who has 4 babies. And they're close to the mother's color. We got 4, a lot of white on them.
How old are those?
Ooh, they're about 4 weeks too. I have to check the calendar for all of them.
The cute
I think
ones.
these are 3 weeks. We got 3 black ones, a tri, and a broken opal, and an orangish white one. So she had those many. And then this one, she has 4. They're all tri like her, which are really, really cute. Snickerdoodle.
One's chilling in the bowl.
Yeah. This is her first litter. This one, I don't even know if she's pregnant yet. She was with that other one that had a baby on the wire. So if she's pregnant, at least she has a box. If not, then she will be harvested. She's not one of our females we're keeping.
So if you want a female rabbit that's possibly breeding age.
Oh, she is breeding age. She's about 8 months old. So she's ready for a home. And then we have Midnight, who's solid black, and she has 5 babies in there. 4 are tri, and one's like a broken blue color. And then we have Milkshake, who has 7 babies. She's one of our original rabbits we've had since we've gotten the place. We got her right after we bought this house. So she has, let me show you. She has chocolate. She has, oh, it's okay, baby. She has 6 broken chocolate. Oh, here we go. It's okay. Which they all mostly look like her. Here you go, sweetie. Besides one's like a black and white. So that was really cool. She's never had chocolate babies before, even though she's chocolate. But the male I have seems to make all my females throw their colors. So, and then we have this one, Bubbles, who has 3 little cute ones. Really, really cute. I love them. They're so cute. They have like a little bit of spots, and I love the spots and how the variety is on them. She has one with more spots, and then 2 that don't have as many spots, but so cute. That one looks like it has a mustache. And then Snowflake, and she has...
Snowflake's another one of our originals.
Yes.
And probably the best rabbit we paid money for, to be honest with you.
She throws every color. I mean, we've had every single color with her. It's okay, baby. Oh, it's okay. They haven't been held as much, as you can tell yet, because they were just starting to jump out of the box. All these are only like 3 or 4 weeks old. So the kids will start holding them here soon, and then they'll be really tamed. But they're really cute. Oh, it's okay. Here you go. It's okay. But right now she has one of every color. She has a chocolate, a brown, a black, a broken blue, broken opal, and a broken castor. So really, really pretty babies.
So that is another shed that we put up when we first moved here, and that's kind of like our animal storage shed. That's one of the other projects that we need to put stone down, level that off, and make it so it's easier, accessible, and hopefully that will fix the leakage in the roof. And then over here we have our rest of the logs that need to be milled up for that we cut down from the tree last year. These are the 3 biggest logs, and hopefully these will turn into the twins' bunk beds. And then over here I got some of the tree limbs I cut down from over at the garden, laying out the bushcraft shack for the ducks. So these are just going to be kind of half lapped in there and nailed in hastily, and then some pieces of wood just to kind of keep the water and the elements off the nest and give them some added protection so they're not completely in the open. But that's going to be one of those projects where it's completely just using what we have around us, other than some nails, to give them something to protect themselves with. So this is our trail cam. Our first year we had the luxury of figuring out what type of predators we have around us.
So, and it was really cheap. For $20, we were able to see what animals were getting into the different coops, or at the time we had a duck coop, chicken thing we had made, and something had torn into there and got into our chickens. But for $20, we were able to get this, and this has definitely helped us out a lot. I mean, just certain things that have happened, you can kind of guess what got into them, but the only way to know is by getting one of these. So I really recommend it if you're starting a new homestead, you're just starting out on a new piece of property. I would definitely get a trail cam for that.
Make sure you check it regularly though. The first time we actually had a problem and we went on and realized it wasn't recording for a couple of weeks because our kids play out here. They constantly, 2-3 times a day we're coming out to this area to check on the animals, to give them water. And then we have our lovely dogs that like to come out and inspect what's going on as well. Of course, he needs to use the restroom while we're recording them, but just make sure you check it frequently if you have a lot of activity. The memory card lasts a pretty good while. It's just we didn't check it because we didn't have any issues. We went out there when we finally did have an issue and realized it's been full. So just check it regularly. You know, make it on your to-do list once a week, twice a week, every other week, once a month.
Once a month. It was recording for like a month and a half, and then it would be full.
Right.
So I would say once a month it would be just fine if you check it. Also, when we first started this place, we started so many projects. I mean, we got chickens, ducks, rabbits. We got everything off the bat when we first bought this place, and we weren't ready for everything that entails.
Yeah, that was one of our biggest mistakes is
Yeah.
overdoing everything, wanting to do everything and not realizing how much work and time it really does take to just plant 5 trees. Took us almost a week in between doing things. It's a lot of work, and because it was so much work and because we didn't research enough and get other people's opinions that live in the area, how things do, the garden itself is a evolving project because you can read things online and they are great advice, but until you plant stuff in your soil, good luck.
Yeah.
Because you know what, just going across the river, things that did well in the area we live on the other side of the Susquehanna did good, they do horrible here, and we've had to change things. So it's just learning and trial by error and trying new things to get better results. So we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can comment below. And until next time, happy homesteading.
And God bless.